Hello, Too Legit and Race Mob audience. It's Coach B here with budding coach Scott Struhl. For those of you who don't know, Scott will be in the process in the coming days on becoming a RRCA certified running coach. And as we know from past practice, Scott has been a contributor to both Race Mob and Too Legit. Scott is a avid runner and loves all things running shoes. So we're going to have a conversation discussing just that, running shoes from various perspectives, perhaps mostly in regards to road shoes, and maybe a little bit of shoe history as it relates to Scott's running journey and mine. You see a couple of shoes in the background, some brand new, some that have plenty of miles on them. Scott will be our moderator for this conversation, and we look forward to talking more shoe business in the future, and perhaps having some of our audience and team members chime in and sharing with the greater running public. So how you doing, Scott?
I am doing so well. Put in some good miles today and feeling great. Getting ready to rest because in about a week's time after the coaching class this weekend, I'll be teeing it up for my first official race that is in New York, Brooklyn, half marathon. So
Wait,
excited
what?
that I'm going to be.
You're running in New York? You're running the Brooklyn Half Marathon?
I am.
By
Absolutely.
Scott. Well, Scott, what shoes might you be running that event in? Has that
Well,
been decided already? Do you have shoes? Do you already own the pair of shoes, or do you have so many pair of shoes that it's like, you know what, coach? It can be this
yeah,
pair or that pair or this pair or that pair.
yeah, yeah. I do have choices, and I do own the shoe. So half marathon is I know that was a question you knew the answer to. I have a mini shoe store in my house. I probably have 30 pairs of shoes that I can run in. Yeah, I would say
Wow.
30.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm
Now the
looking at them
question
all
is,
today.
does Mrs. Struhl know about all those shoes?
She sees them, but she doesn't ask any questions. Yeah.
And how many shoes have you acquired in the last month? We'll just get to the last month.
Okay. Um, 3.
3. Okay. All right.
Great. So
All right.
the newest shoe that came was actually a replacement. So let's talk about the types of shoes that I have and what I run in. So I'm a big Saucony fan. Saucony is probably, of all of the brands that I have, Saucony is the one that I have at least 5 shoes and multiple iterations of the same model. So I bought the Ride 13, I bought the Ride 14. The Triumph is probably the shoe that I've purchased the most in order. So I had the 18, the 19, and the 20. And that's been my long day shoe. But the shoe that came this week was an update to this shoe. This is the Saucony Endorphin Speed 3. So this came out came out in 2022, and there was an issue with the shoe that the eyelid and the top of the shoe popped out and cut into the top of my foot. Saucony is a great company. I took pictures of the shoe. I peeled it. I opened it up and showed them a picture of the tag that's inside. They sent me a brand new pair.
Oh, that's great. Did you have to send the other pair back?
No.
Wow.
So if I
shout out Saucony.
Yeah. So Saucony did a great job. They sent it to me already. So I have that shoe, and if I wear this with a bandage, I could probably still wear it, or I might just donate it to a friend. So that's the Endorphin Speed 3. That's a really good light shoe. I like that for easy days where I don't want to have to lift my feet up too much, because cadence on that shoe is just so easy. It's nice and easy to move my feet across. So there are a couple of different shoes, different categories of shoes. Most of us have what's called a daily trainer, the shoe that you're just going to go run miles in. Doesn't matter if you were going to go a slow pace or if you were going to do a long run. It's just got to be comfortable. So everybody should have a shoe that they can just wear every day. The daily trainer for me for the last year has been the Asics Nova Blast 2. This shoe has been my favorite shoe. It's the fastest shoe to 100 miles. And I could say that because not only am I a running shoe geek, I'm also a data geek. I track all of the stats on my shoe. So I have a chart with a line chart that says up to 100 miles. And this shoe got to 100 miles the fastest. It's just pillowy everywhere. It's cushioned in the heel, in the sides. The tongue is not cushioned, which I don't like, a very thick tongue, which is kind of nice. The laces are soft. They just feel delicious. The color is nice. I think you kind of see it. There you go. This shoe has 200 or so miles on it, and I could probably, based on looking at the bottom, I could probably get another 200 miles in it.
All
It
right,
just looks
good.
It's a perfect shoe. So endorphin speed, endorphin, not endorphin, sorry, Asics Nova Blast 2. So this is not the newest one. The newest one is the Nova Blast 3. It's almost as good, but the 2 is the one I like a little bit better than the 3. Of course, I like this so much, I did buy the 3. So the Nova Blast 3 is also a shoe in my quiver. I think they dumbed it down a little bit. It just doesn't, it doesn't have the material, the proper cushion that the other one has. This is a little firmer inside. So it just doesn't feel as nice. It's got a little bit more foam. So the outsole is FF Blast Plus. So it's very cushiony and soft, but it's not wearing as well. This one I won't get to as many miles as the 2. It does pick up rocks also. I just noticed.
Scott, you're getting a question from the audience. That would be myself, a request, because the audience wants to see those shoes in as vivid as possibility. So can we modify your background because the shoe's cutting in and out a bit?
Yeah, let's do that. I was just noticing that as well. So I'm going to turn off the virtual background so that we can see the shoe entirely.
Yep.
So Nova Blast 3. This is the one you're going to get now if you were to buy a Asics shoe. The 2 is hard to find unless you're either really small or a really large foot. I was trying to buy another pair of Nova Blast 2s, but was unable to do so.
And Scott, what's the price point for that particular shoe?
Oh, this shoe is, I think it's like 140 new, which is not a bad price. It's a comfortable shoe. I've ran in it a lot. But if I had to, if you said, Scott, you have to throw away one of the Nova Blasts, regardless, I'd keep the 2 and get rid of the 3. That's how much I like. I did not have the Nova Blast 1. That one missed me. So they made that shoe 3 years in a row, and I have the 2 and the 3.
That is great. Thank you very much for that insight. What other shoes, or what are the types of use? You mentioned a daily trainer. What other use types in shoes have you experienced and you recommend to our audience?
Yeah. So when I look at my workout that you and I put together, so thank you. You've been putting my workouts together, and for some reason, when it's on paper or on screen, I do it, no matter what. You said, go find 500 feet of hills. I found 500 feet of hills last week, and it sucked, but I did it, and I felt so good when it was done. So the other type of shoe you need is something that you just long, slow day, right? You're going to be out there 2 hours, whatever that distance is. Let's just say it's a 2-hour run. You want something that's very, very comfortable and not too heavy because you're going to be in it for a while. So when I have a 2-hour run, which is usually, more than 10 miles, something between 10 and 12, I reach for a Saucony shoe. And this one is the Saucony Triumph. You might have to put sunglasses on to look at this. Triumph 19 in this gorgeous color. It's called Campfire Story. I just love this colorway. Another cool thing about this shoe is the outsole glows in the dark. So when this catches light, it lights up.
Oh, wow. That is pretty unique.
Yeah. So right here, as soon as it catches light, it's got one of those fluorescent things. So you just put light into it, and then you can kind of see that it'll just glow in the dark.
Nice.
So Really comfortable shoe. Very, you can see it's got a lot of stack. So this the foam area is very thick. Have a lot of miles on this shoe, but it's a little bit heavy because it's got this all rubber outsole.
Mm-hmm.
There's no exposed rubber. It has a rubber on the bottom, so it's good for traction. What else about this shoe? This is the shoe that I would go long in, long and easy. So more than 7 miles or about 2 hours.
And price point on that, Scott?
This one's 150.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think the Triumph 19 is 150. The Triumph 20, the price did go up. Now I knew I liked the shoe so much that I was gonna need the Triumph 20. Sometimes I buy shoes, since I do buy a lot, I always try to buy them on sale. I very rarely will pay the retail price. So there was an opportunity for me to pick up the Triumph 20 at a discount, and I got that one as well. And this is such a gorgeous looking shoe as well, because I like shoes with the outsole and the upper are the same color. So the way they did that is they call this one graphite, I believe. So this is the Triumph 20. The bottom is about the outsole is very different.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a little bit more exposed rubber. This one's a bit lighter, and there's actually more foam heel stack in the 20. I've only walked around in the house with it because I don't like to wear 19 and 20 at the same time. I'll kind of when the 19 wears out, then I'll run in this. I'll probably get to this sometime in the summer. So when I'm doing those long runs, getting ready for the fall marathons, is when I'll start wearing the 20.
Oh,
I think
good.
this one went up to 160, and this one you can get this is a current model. So if you went to Saucony.com or yourrunningshoestore.com, you'd be able to pick up the Triumph 20 right now for like about 160.
And Scott, are you typically ordering your shoes directly through the brand, or are you going through a third party such as Running Warehouse, etc.?
Yeah, so I've typically been buying my shoes either from Roadrunner Sports or Running Warehouse. Um, Sometimes Saucony will have the ability a coupon or some type of promo, so I'll buy it directly from Saucony. The only other website that I bought shoes from the manufacturer was Asics. So probably my favorite shoe of the year. We didn't get to that one. It's the dual all shoe, so I was going to save that at the end. I bought that one from asics.com with a promo code. So you have your daily trainer, you have your long run shoe. I guess if you were to have a third shoe, you'd have a fast day shoe. So sometimes you tell me, Scott, you got to run, sub 8 for 2 miles and then go a little bit faster than that if you could. So those I want to have a shoe that's very responsive and light. So I'll pick something like an Endorphin Pro for that, or
And
I
what
might
goes
go
into
with
your decision making in selecting a up tempo, i.e., time trial, 1 mile, 5K, 10K shorter distance, where you're feeling comfortable, where the shoe may be a little bit lighter, nimble, responsive, potentially a carbon plate or nylon plate? What are some other factors that are going into this is the shoe that I feel most comfortable in running a faster pace?
uh, well, if that would depend on where I was going to do the run. So if it's going to be completely on concrete or street, I might go with something that's not necessarily brand new, something that's been broken in. And my tempo shoe that's been broken in is what a surprise. It's another Saucony. It's the Saucony Triumph, Saucony Convara 12.
Yeah, those
And
colorways are pretty vivid.
yeah, people see me coming. I like green. So if things have green laces, I'm pretty happy, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
pretty happy for that. So this is the Convara 12. This is the 12. And this is my fast pace shoe. So if I want to run, I'm running about 5 miles and I want to be in my faster pace, close to my half marathon pace, I would wear this. If I were to do a 10K, a time trial, I wear something even lighter than this. And this is my light, really fast day shoe. And first time you're going to see a Nike out here.
Streak
This
fly.
is the Streak Fly. So this is, if I'm going to race a 10K or a 5K, this is the shoe I'm going to reach for. So this
And
is
what is the
my,
why behind it, Scott? Why is that particular shoe? I have a couple of ideas, but we want to hear you articulate it from your
yeah,
vantage point. Why the Streak Fly?
the Street Fry is light. So I got a big foot, size 12 and a half. Every shoe is kind of heavy. It's hard for me to find a shoe that's under 10 ounces. This one is close to 9 ounces in my size. So it hardly weighs anything. And when you're racing, you know, the lighter you are, you're going to wear a light shorts, you're going to wear thin socks, you're going to wear a thin singlet. I wear this shoe. In racing shoes, I half size down, which is probably interesting for people to know. So my racing shoes are all a size 12 instead of a 12 and a half. And I wear the thinnest sock that I have that will protect my foot.
And
So
why is that? Because some conventional wisdom would say our foot would expands, especially as we're running longer distances, half marathon and marathon. But why for you in particular, why you typically will go down
yeah,
a
down
size if
size
you're a 12 and a half, that you'll wear a 12? Why is
12.
that?
Yeah. Well, I don't want my foot to move around at all. So a 12 fits more like a glove. My foot is, maybe it will expand a little bit. So I take care of that consideration by wearing a very thin sock. So I'll do a shout out to my favorite thin running socks. They're called Insilence. And they're super thin. They're a European company, and I bought 2 pair of them, and I kind of saved those for race day.
Okay. All
Um,
right.
so pretty sure. Yep, this is a size 12, and yes, it is a size 12. And my marathon shoe, which looks exactly like this, in the same color, is also a size 12. So this is my race day tempo, short distance race day. So 10K and less.
All right.
15K races, which I've done a couple this year for some reason. I hit 2 15K races. Um, I just wore my a tempo day shoe.
And Scott, what advice, because each runner is different, would you give his, you'll be Coach Struhl here in the
Yeah,
coming weeks and months. What advice would you give new runners or semi-experienced runners with sizing, to go to a running store and get a professional gait analysis and get professionally measured, or wear true to size, or glove,
yeah,
like if it's like a glove,
yeah,
like you like to go a half size smaller?
yeah. Definitely a half size. If I were to just go out and buy regular shoes, I'm usually a 12. So, but every one of my running shoes are a 12 and a half.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, so I got measured the first time, and then once you find a brand, typically that brand sizing is going to be true to size for all of their models. So when I buy a Saucony or an Asics, I know 12 and a half is going to fit well.
Right.
When I buy Nike, Pegasus shoes fit me differently than the racing shoes. So I have to play
Mm.
around. So Nike is a little bit more challenging. What's even more challenging, some companies like Puma don't sell half sizes. So do I buy
Mm.
a 12 or do I buy a 13? So I bought a 12 and I have to wear thin socks because it's a little bit smaller. Um, so I only have 1 pair of Puma shoes, the DV8 Nitro, and it's a great daily trainer that I've been using it for. But I'm a little leery to buy a shoe that doesn't come in at 12 and a half. So I only have 1 pair of Puma shoes. Asics and Saucony are the ones that seem to fit me best. But yeah,
Question for you. Yeah.
yeah. So I would say get size, go to your shoes. If you don't have shoes at all, definitely spend some time in a shoe store the first time for your first pair.
Excellent advice. What is driving your shoe purchases? Is it purchasing by need, purchasing based on style and color,
Yeah.
or purchasing out of having just I want to
Very,
have the
yeah.
latest and greatest?
Yeah. So I don't buy by, style and color. That's semi-important. I buy for the purpose of the run, I think is the most important. So, I do a lot of races. So I have 5 pair of shoes that I consider racing shoes from any speed, from the 10K, which you just saw at the Streak Fly, half marathon. You might not need a long distance running shoe. You might not need an Alpha Fly. I'm finding that the shoe that I bought that I'm probably going to run the half marathon in this weekend is the latest Endorphin Pro 3 in probably the prettiest color I've ever seen. This is
it almost
I
looks
gotta use
top
that.
secret because your
Yeah.
screen is blurring it out.
All right, let's turn off the blur completely. So
Oh yeah.
this is the Endorphin Pro 3 in the Invader color way. And I knew I just had to have this by this style. So this one maybe I purchased by style because I just everything about this shoe from the top, the bottom, the laces is just I don't even want to wear it. I want to eat it. It looks like a piece of cake to me. It's super soft. The Endorphin Pro 3 has been a great racer for many of the professionals. Of course, it's carbon fiber plated, which you can see on the bottom. I've only tried it on in the house. I will have to wear it probably for some taper runs to be sure that this is going to be my half marathon shoe.
And Scott,
So
when
when I
you're
buy,
preparing for long runs or race day efforts, are you putting it outside of the thin sock choice, the European sock that you're wearing? Are you applying any anti-chafing, any blister ointments to your feet? And if so, is there a
yeah,
particular product that you recommend?
yes. So I do. Your feet are the only thing that really touches it's the only thing that touches the ground, right? Inside the shoe. So taking care of your feet is super important. Keeping your toenails at the right length. Here's a race tip: don't cut your toenails the day before a race because you can cut your foot into your toe. So when you're preparing your nails, do it a week or so before, or a few days before the race. I lost a toenail today. Big toe on the right foot. The toenail came loose and ripped and put a hole in my sock. So I lost a sock today. Everybody bow your head for the death of the sock. And so I do have foot cream. It's Gold Bond foot cream I put on, and I usually put that on after a run, or sometimes if it's real. Now that it's warm out, today was almost 80 degrees. I will put the Gold Bond ointment foot gel. It's foot gel, and
And I'm
I
glad
put that
that you
on.
brought up temperature. Are there, based on external temperature, do you base shoe choice when you're going on your training runs? Can temperature dictate the type of
Mhm.
shoe you're going to run in? And if so, can you give us some examples how?
Sure, absolutely. So the upper is going to be either very um, minimal and see-through. This is not a good example because this Endorphin Pro 3 is different than the original Endorphin Pro 3. They didn't put as many perforations in it, so you can't really tell from video. But the other shoe has many little holes in it. The original Endorphin Pro 3. This model it's a different upper, even though it's still a Pro 3. It has a different upper than the original. Race shoes, because your foot gets really hot, we'll take a look at here. This is the shoe that I ran the Chicago Marathon and the CIM Marathon, which I'm doing again in 2023. I'm super excited to lace it up with you again, Coach B.
Yeah,
Oh, but
first weekend in December.
yes, in December 3rd. So training never stops for me, but the official 18 weeks, we got plenty of time to get started on that. So now that it's really hot, I will wear shoes that have a lighter upper that have some perforation. So this is the Nike. This is the Next Percent 2. You have the 3 behind you. Something you will notice is it's the upper is very thin, so air can get in here and keep your feet a little cooler. If it's raining, you want something that's going to try to keep your foot dry, but unless you're wearing Gore-Tex or trail shoes, your foot's going to get wet. Last Saturday, I ran in a race in pouring rain, and there was nothing I could do to keep dry. The foot was just going to get wet. So pairing socks with shoes also is important, as we talked about. So if it's colder out, you're going to wear a thicker sock. I like the Balega winter sock. That's a good sock for when it's cooler out. I'm here in the Northeast, so it does get, we have winter here. You guys don't really have winter where you are. I do need thicker socks in the January, February time frame, but now I'll wear ankle socks mostly. Ankle socks that don't go past my ankle,
Yeah.
but I
And
don't like the ones. Yeah, I don't prefer the ones that go underneath the shoe. It has to come out at least a little bit. Crew is probably my favorite length, the ones that come just over your ankle bones. That way, you just know that it's not going to slip into the shoe.
And since we're talking all things footwear, I'm sure in a future episode we'll talk more about socks, examples of socks, the different cut, the level of compression, moisture wicking, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah, we could we can just do a sock chat too. I
Yeah.
know we want people to be able to listen to this. So maybe we'll put in the show notes that this is a bit long, so this might be something you want to listen to as a podcast and not necessarily watch. And then if you want to see the shoes, you can come back and see the specific shoe. But I would prefer to. I think maybe listen to this on a long run.
Yeah, I
I pretty
agree.
much showed you all the shoes. I did want to mention, for nostalgic purposes, this is my very first half marathon shoe, and I've saved it. I don't wear it anymore, but this is a blast from the past. The shoe that started it all.
Oh,
This
that's
is
a
the
great looking
Nike.
shoe. Yeah, it's
This is the
Nike.
Nike Next Percent,
Yep.
or 4% they called it, and it still has some life in it, but it's
Yeah, the
this is
bottom, the wear pattern on the bottom, especially on the rear heel, doesn't look, because that's a shoe. If you're a chronic heel striker, I mean those uh exterior rubber
crash.
sole, yeah, they will
Yeah, the
start to
crash
break
pads.
down. Yeah,
Yeah,
still looks good.
yeah, I definitely could still wear this. Maybe I wear this in Brooklyn, or maybe for some training runs over the summer. But yeah, this is the first carbon. This is my very first carbon plated shoe, and I'll never get rid of it.
Yeah, that's an
I'll
OG.
keep
I
it.
love the look of that shoe. I love the
Yeah,
color. Yeah,
yeah.
great.
The upper is great. It fits so wonderfully.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, Scott,
So
thank you very much for giving our listeners and viewers some insight on the different types of shoes and types and purpose of use, some fantastic vivid colors, some exceptional insight as always. We are excited on your upcoming coaching certification as our running community will benefit. We can look forward to Mr. Scott Struhl coming back to us with more coaching tips on many different areas. He's also a gadget geek too. So I mean that on all different levels. So from recovery tools to help us stay hydrated and everything else in between. So, all right, Scott, any closing remarks from New Jersey?
uh, just everybody have a wonderful beginning of summer. It's going to be summer in just a few weeks. And I'm looking forward to seeing all the great successes from the Too Legit and Race Mob team. And if you find a good deal on a shoe, or a promo code, please post it in the channels for us, and I'll do the same.
And best of luck to you in the upcoming Brooklyn Half Marathon. We'll be supporting you every step of the way. And remember, we run in the shoes. The shoes don't run us. Ultimately, it's our fitness level that will carry us to that finish line, and the shoes are
That's
just a
right.
component of that. So, all right, team, happy running.
Thanks, everybody. Take care.